Okay, so I wanted to continue on. I'm trying to keep these videos exactly where we left off on each. I'm trying to cut them off and chapter them off properly where it seems fit. Okay, so now that we've set up the chart of accounts, like I said, these may or may not be everything you want to use, but I'm going to take you to the sales codes because the sales codes are kind of where these things are going to lead to. Okay, so these are the generic sales codes. Okay, if for some reason you're not exactly an interior designer that is selling these things, or if you're not sorting or doing things in this fashion, you're going to still want to start here because you're going to want to rename these. You want to start with what you have first, okay, before you start arbitrarily adding new things here. And this is how you would add a new cost code, okay? But before adding new cost codes, I would invite you to, see if any of these are fitting, and if they're not, what naming conventions or what sales codes are fitting for your specific business. The reason why this matters is because this is kind of what you're going to be basing a lot of things on in terms of whether something is sales taxable or not sales taxable, or and things like that. So look through these, and let me show you why I ask you not to keep adding things randomly. Because as you set up, because everybody likes to set up and add a bunch of these different sales codes when some of them are the exact same thing, or could have just been, revamped from what we had. Okay, and then it causes issues because what you need to understand about these things is while you're setting up these standard defaults here and through here, when we get to these income accounts, these things are where your accounting flows. And again, like I said, on the chart of accounts, those are where things are going to show up on your financial statement. So before you just let anybody come in here and just override what all of these things do, and therefore create more problems, you kind of need to understand where things go. Okay, and if that does not make sense to you as far as from an accounting standpoint, then I would definitely ask you to visit with somebody that's a little bit more well versed, or you can reach out to us at info@mareevuitton.com. You can visit our website. We'll put the link below, and hopefully as a pop up here as well. And we can help you through that, or answer any questions, or pick up where maybe things got messed up. But this is where you're going to kind of set up defaults again. So let me get out of here. Once you've figured out what your sales codes are, okay, and if you don't like these, think about what you're doing here, because they're tied to things, okay? If I wanted to add something else or change these, know that you're going to want to change or make sure that there's a GL account in the chart of accounts that coincides with this, okay? Because this is kind of how your sales tax report is reading things. So be mindful of that, okay? On accessories, I'm going to make it default to each, because each in accessories is pretty accurate, right? An accurate unit of measure. You can still change these on each thing. These are just setting up defaults. Okay, I think sometimes that's a little misleading, or kind of people don't like to use certain things. So this is going to be your selling markup percentage. Now this is going to also be the same things that we set up company wide. Okay, and if we have these things where we're going to use different markups based on vendor, this is not where you set them up at. Okay, these should usually, well, unless you have different markups and deposits that you're going to use for specific sales codes, usually there's not. But if there is, you're going to go ahead and do that here. Okay, you're not going to pick a tax location. It's very rare that you're going to pick a tax location. And I know I said pick something on everything, but here I'm going to just say, I think that we used our standard markup was 50%, I believe. And the selling deposit, okay, like I said, I always ask for 100% markup deposit. And these should always, these three, whatever it is, if it's 50%, 75%, whatever percent it is for your business, make sure that you do it the same all the way through. Okay? Because you might get somebody that's like me, and I'll try to figure out your markup. Okay? So just be mindful of that. Okay? And how you back into numbers. So the purchase deposit, this is also the percentage of what, like whatever the deposit is for when you purchase. Again, these are not set in stone. They're just generic defaults. So I always like to have everything at 100%. Is selling taxable? Yes, it is. Always going to be taxable because this is a good. An accessory is a good. The markup is going to be taxable. Yes, it is. You want it to be taxable because, like I said, you can get somebody that's like me and we'll try to figure out your markup. So yes, if your selling is taxable, the markup should be taxable as well, and vice versa. So if the selling is not taxable, the markup's not either. Okay. Like I said, this one, I'm keeping the accessories, so there's nothing to change. It should default to the sales accessories. This markup should default to the sales accessories. Cost of sales should default to the cost of sales accessories. CFA, that's cutting for approval, it's not going to be on this, so I'm just going to leave that. Okay. And you can see the sections that have the orange or red little asterisk. Those are mandatory, so you can't skip over those. So always look at those, and when you save, we're going to watch for the confirmation. And so should you need to change or alter any of these, you're going to want to change and alter the chart of accounts. Hopefully that makes sense. If you want to add some sales codes, you're going to want to make sure you add the corresponding GL account for it in the chart of accounts. Okay, I've seen people screw that up and have weird sales ending up in weird accounts or even a checking account. So be mindful of how you set that up, okay? Because this is how things are taxed, okay? And I'll show you these, like I said, these a lot of times are going to be the same as your company-wide defaults unless, you know, it's rare that I see somebody that says, you know, we have a standard markup on every, you know, on different sales codes. If that's so, you can do that here, or you can set up additional defaults from the vendor settings, right? Meaning our normal company-wide markup might be 50% on everything. However, when we use our fabricator or seamstress or whoever that may be, I want to mark it up 100% or 150%, right? So those are going to be set up from the vendor settings, and I'm going to jump right into that and setting up vendors, okay? So if there's any questions about the things that I've said regarding sales codes, let me know. Leave them in the comments below.